yeah. We're doing it. We're doing it. I don't know what this funky ass music is, but I'm feeling it. It's a nice little vibe. You know, I almost feel like we're in some kind of feel-good sitcom. You know, where the credits roll and every character does a cheesy smile at the camera, and it just fills you with warmth. That's what I feel like we're cooking up today. How y'all feeling? Knives all out. What? Weird ass music? What? I thought it was kind of chill. I don't know. I feel like I could learn a life lesson, but not have it be too serious as to weigh down the tone with drama. You know what I mean? I'm running that shit back. I'm running that shit back. I'm on that Mr. Rogers shit today. You just let me do my thing. Hey, Jared, nice, man. What are you doing? What are you doing? Are you doing a race? Are you doing a race? Hit me up, man. Hit me in the DMs. Sounds like the music from Diddy Kong Racing N64. It does a little bit. It does a little bit. Or a little Banjo-Kazooie. Right? Like you're in between bosses on Banjo-Kazooie. Maybe the home screen or something like that. Oh, okay. He's right there already? Damn, I didn't expect him that fast. One race at 5 p.m. tonight? Nice, man. And then right back out of town, or is there more races over the weekend? What's the deal? What's the dealio with that, man? Hope you do good. Hope you win the race. Should I come over and put a little money on it? And then get real mad if you lose? We could make the front page. I mean, there is not shit going on in Erie. We could legit make the front page. Local YouTuber assaults member of his community for losing money at the races. I'm just spitballing. But that feels like a pretty cool headline, you know? Just let me know. Josh, I'm going to check out the Warhammer store in a few hours away tomorrow. Nice. Good for you. I hope you have a good time. I always have a good time when I go into the Warhammer store. And I think the branding of the Warhammer stores and the strategy that they have with them is pretty cool. So it's a different kind of thing, but yeah, hope you enjoy it. Thank you for the gifted membership, Zach. Appreciate you. Great to see you back on Nerd Theory. Well, yeah, I mean, I popped on Rule of 3 last night, and we're gonna bring Nerd Theory back on Monday. I'm actually excited. I'm excited, baby. We're gonna cook. We're gonna make some content, and we also have a good stream for you guys today, man. I got some cool stuff to talk about. We got some fun stuff to get into. We're gonna do our damn thing. But yes, we'll be back at it on Monday. And I've got a lot of stuff that I'm excited to, I guess, try out with Theory. You know, Theory and I had a lot of conversations about what Nerd Theory would look like when it came back. And we're both flexible. I think there's some things that we want to try, but we're both flexible on it. At the end of the day, though, we're going to just make fun content and see where the conversation takes us and just kind of lean into the strength of that dynamic. But I do have some cool ideas. So, yeah. We're going to cook. Saw it was in town and I'm visiting. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's great. Nerd Theory Crash Out is going to be epic. I mean, there might be some crash outs. I don't know. Maybe I'm a totally different person now. Maybe I'm completely zen and I don't crash out on chat anymore. You know what I mean? I've ascended. You can't troll me, chat. You can't troll me. So no super chats for 7 hours straight. What was our record on Nerd Theory? I feel like 7 hours might have been the record. Although, was it longer than that? I remember one time we literally streamed all night, dude. We streamed all night. That was wild. When is Nerd Theory coming back? On Monday. I believe we'll be at either 5:30 or 6 o'clock in the evenings. Yeah. We say we're mature now, and then we get caught up in traffic. Oh, dude, I hate traffic. I'm very rarely in traffic, though. I've kind of organized my life so that I don't have to be in traffic. Back in the day when I worked the restaurant job and did content, I would literally leave my house at like 6 a.m. to beat traffic into town. This is when I would work at like 11, and then I'd work off of a laptop near my restaurant job on YouTube stuff. That's how much I hate traffic. Like, I cannot fucking do it. I cannot be that guy sitting there with all those cars. I just can't do it. So yeah, I hate traffic. Zach says, Josh, I truly appreciate you, this channel, and the work you put in. Thanks, man. It's a great feeling to be a part of a community like this. So thank you. Much love. Oh, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for the love right back. Yeah, we kind of do our thing over here. We certainly like put out content, but also there's a big community aspect of it. And that's something that's grown over the years. And we've been through a lot. We've watched a lot of shows, a lot of movies. We've watched the space change and evolve. We've had good times, we've had bad times, you know what I mean? Like, we had Endgame, we had Mando season 2, and then we had like fucking She-Hulk and Secret Invasion, you know? So we've been through it all, baby. Josh I says, what up, Papa Josh? It's been a while, but nice to finally catch a live stream. Hope you and your wonderful family as well. Nerd Avengers for life. Hey, appreciate you, Josh I hope you're doing well too, man. Do you still have your Mando costume, your cosplay? Do you ever still rock that thing? And yeah, we're good over here, man. We're good. Everything is going well. Everything is going well. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Have you, in theory, created an intro video graphic for Nerd Theory? No. I mean, we have the old intro, probably, but yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I just kind of threw it at him last night. You know, it's kind of my style. I don't know if you guys noticed this. I kind of just go, and I like to move fast, and so I just hit him up yesterday. I've been thinking about it for a while. I mean, I know a lot of you guys have been asking me about it, and I've been thinking about it too. But yeah, no, I think now's the time. At the end of the day, it's not as though Star Wars is back. You know, and it's not as though there's so much cool Star Wars stuff and we're gonna like, yeah, let's go. It's not, but it is the time that I think a lot of people need some fun content together, and I think we will be able to do that together. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be cool. Sasha Trey says Infinity Castle was well, it was a movie. What? This guy's hating on Infinity Castle? Get the fuck out of here. But no, you're allowed to have your opinion, I guess. Grandmaster Choda says, Josh, seeing your live notification cured my long-standing bout with erectile dysfunction. My wife is eternally grateful. Also, I love you. I'm getting mixed messages here. I'm feeling different things. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot to unpack. So we'll just move right along. Appreciate you, though. Good morning. It's Friday. Blinkers up. Hey, yeah, dude, we finally made it to Friday. You know, I was hoping it was Friday on Wednesday. I don't know about you guys, but I was like, yeah, let's go. It's been a long week. And that was fucking Wednesday. So, yeah, it's been a long week for sure. Hope you guys are hanging in there. I know things are crazy. Opinions are flying. The temperature's hot on social media. I totally get it. I would recommend a little bit of time away from the screens. Go paint your Warhammer minis, go read your Warhammer novels, and you'll be all right. The stream is saving lives. Damn! Saving lives and saving boners. In Endgame, did Doctor Strange pick the one scenario Tony dies because he knew he was Doctor Doom? That's a cool idea. I like that. Wouldn't that be wild, bro? Wouldn't that be wild? Damn. Go see The Long Walk. Not scary at all. Yeah, fucking right, dude. You guys. It's not scary at all. And then, like, I look at the genre. You know what's really good, though? Is fucking Alien Earth, bro. I watched the episode late this week, but I think that show's so cool. And you know what? To be completely honest with you, it didn't always have me. There were some aspects to the show. There were some things where I wasn't crazy about it at first. And to be really serious with you, there was sort of a feeling, like in my mind, I actually thought the show was a little dialed back Noah. Meaning, like, I love Noah Hawley and I think his stuff is great. But, like, I guess I was looking for a little bit more earlier on. But he brings it home. He's bringing it home because what is going on now is genuinely fascinating, and the characters and the attributes that they have and like all the moving pieces are fascinating. So like, dude, this is cool. Like, it's really cool. I'm really enjoying the show. I think the finale's next week, and then there's a second season that's greenlit, so that's going to be cool. Sasha Trey says the movie has way too much dialogue. Flashbacks were overdone, and there's no real plot plus, just a series of fights and Akuza's MVP peak fight. Interesting. Okay, so you're one of those anime fans. Okay. Look, it is kind of popular to hate on Demon Slayer. It's almost like the Marvel of anime. Like, real talk. And I think a lot of people think it's simple, it's derivative, its formulas weird and trite. And even I'm like not the biggest. I was actually just talking to my buddy about this last night. We were playing Warhammer. And he's like super big into anime. And he just saw Demon Slayer. I saw it first, but I was waiting to talk to him about it until he saw it. So he saw it. And we were talking about it. And yeah, we're both like, man, like, that's a lot of backstory. Like, that's a lot of backstory. Like, that's a lot of backstory for the fucking demon at the end. But it's cool. It's cool, man. It's really fucking cool. And, yeah, there's just no way around it. It's like, it's just dope. Like, they even get me where I'm like skeptic of it and I'm not in love with it. I just want the action. But then even I feel sympathy for the guy at the end. So it's like, damn. One Piece clears Demon Slayer even with its pacing issues. Yeah, I mean, you'll find that anime fans have strong opinions about what anime is their favorite or which one's the best or whatever. Yeah, I totally get it. Good morning, Bianca. When is Nerd Theory? Probably like 6 p.m. Eastern time Monday is probably the new time. And we'll start it up on Monday. But it's got emotion. Yeah, I know it's emotional. Look, it is what it is. That's Demon Slayer's thing. It's always been its thing. It's the style of the show. It has to do with the protagonist, and they go for it. That's the thing. You know, it's what they do. Keep in mind that they're doing it in movies, whereas normal seasons would have better pacing. Totally fair. That is actually probably a very good explanation as to why it is so much. You know what I mean? But you got to think of it like this. So people that will come into Demon Slayer, because Demon Slayer is obviously very popular, but it's going to be, I think, popular for a long, long time. So people will go back, right? And if you view Demon Slayer like as just going through it all, getting into these final movies, right? You're going to have this trilogy of films. I think when you sit down to watch it all, to like experience it all, this like 30-minute story at the end of this movie will sit a lot better. It will feel appropriate considering all the other stuff and just like what the show is and the sort of like the time spent in that trilogy of movies. Because you got to imagine they're all probably going to be 2 hours plus. This one was 2 hours and 40 minutes, which is another like, bro, that shit is crazy. This shit was 2 hours and 40 minutes of just boom, and then a whole like a whole bunch of backstory. I get it, but you know, out of curiosity, because you guys just got me curious now, man. What are some of your guys' favorite animes? Like, what do you consider to be either your favorite anime or like what you think is the best anime? You know what I mean? What's the best anime to you? That's a long movie. It is a long movie, dude. It is a long movie. And it could be part of why the end feels so like it's a lot at the end, because it's like literally like it's at least 20 minutes. It feels like 40 minutes. Bleach? That's interesting. Supa Vash says, happy Friday, brother. Can we talk more about Alien Earth? Spoiler review, maybe. Also, are you watching Gen V? I have not watched Gen V. Is it dope, though? That's the question. Is that shit dope? Because I'll throw it on this weekend. I'll throw it on. I gave the first season a try. Honestly, it just wasn't for me. It's not bad, but I was just like, I don't really give a fuck that much. But if this one's like better or whatever, it could hold my attention. Javier Mendez, thank you for the $10 holler, man. That is very generous. Thank you. Gundam's interesting. Let me talk about Bleach for a second. Somebody brought up Bleach. I think the arc, It's tough because Bleach is so good. It has so much filler. And I think after the initial Aizen stuff, it does go off the rails. I think the last season, even though I like it, I totally get why people are like, what the fuck is this? You know, it's weird. Thousand Year Blood War arc is fucking incredible, I think. Even it's had a little bit of this and that. But yeah, I think Bleach overall is awesome. The issue with Bleach is after the main thing with Aizen, it drags. It never peaks really again. And then there's so much filler. So it's a little bit tough, but it's really good. It's really good. Number 1 is Death Note. That's an incredible one too, but again, Death Note suffers from a similar thing. When Kira goes, it's just not the same. Like the second Kiras and like all the little Kiras and the America shit they do is just like not. It does a disservice to how good the beginning part of Death Note is, but Death Note is fucking seminal, dude. Like, you have to watch Death Note. You know what's so funny about Death Note? I probably told this story before, but so when my wife and I were first getting together, I was trying to get her into anime, and she was like a hard no, bro. She was like a hard no. And ironically, years later, she gets into anime. She's actually more into anime than me now. Like, she loves anime. But back when we were first getting together, I used Death Note to try to get her into anime, okay? And so we watched the first episode of Death Note. And if you watch Death Note, like, the first episode's good, but you need to watch the second one because it's set up for the shoe dropping in episode 2, and that's when the shit gets crazy, right? So we watched the first episode of Death Note, and I was like, she would not watch the second one. And I was like, but you just gotta watch the second one. And she wouldn't do it. Years later, she gets into anime. We sit down and watch Death Note again. Of course, she fucking loves it. And she looks at me after the second episode and says, you should have just made me watch the second episode. Yeah. Oh, you're loving her videos for K-pop and Stray Kids? Yeah, she's killing it, man. She's having a lot of fun with that stuff, for sure. Vampire Hunter D. I like Vampire Hunter D, actually. I think Vampire Hunter D is underrated. Underrated anime. I really like that one. The Way of the House Husband. That is a fun one. That's a more of a modern one, but yeah, that's fun. Samurai Champloo is one of my favorites, just stylistically. I think it's just a beautiful piece of art. Violet Evergarden. I don't even know if I've heard of that. That sounds cool, though. Sounds cool. For me, there's ones like Evangelion, Neo Genesis Evangelion is like, you gotta watch that. The Akira movie, you have to watch that. Trigun. I like Escaflowne. That's like an old school mech one that had a little bit more of like an esoteric spiritual thing going on. I liked Escaflowne a lot. That one was fun. Obviously Dragon Ball, but like Dragon Ball is like almost not... Dragon Ball's like it's almost its own genre, you know? Because like it starts off as shonen. It's very shonen in Dragon Ball, but then when it gets to Z, it kind of evolved into something different. Ninja Scroll's cool. Ninja Scroll's cool. Tokyo Ghoul is also cool. I never got far on Tokyo Ghoul, but that one's cool. Attack on Titan is, of course, I think, a very important anime that people should watch if you're into it. Yeah, Escaflowne is cool. There's a movie, and then there's this show. I don't know how to watch. Check Crunchyroll. Assassination Classroom's cool. Ghost of the Machine is a great movie. Yeah, that's a great one. Ghost of the Machine is so cool. Which also, too, I rewatched the one with ScarJo. Dude, that movie's not bad, dude. That movie came out at a time when people could not, and to be honest with you, maybe we're still kind of in that phase where people could not accept that, like, she is actually the perfect person to play that role. Like, people thought she was whitewashing or whatever. And just, like, not understanding... Because people do this with Naruto, too. Like, I literally saw, not to be rude to him or whatever, but I saw, like, Daniel RPK one time make this big post about Naruto. and say that about how like Naruto cast in live action absolutely needs to be an Asian character. And it's like the person that wrote Naruto wrote him as a blonde American, like exaggerated, like American kind of guy. And in fact, that guy has said in interviews that he wanted Naruto to be a boisterous white guy. You know, and it's just one of those things, man. It's just tough. I don't think that he means, I don't think like he means well or whatever. Yeah, it's just wild. It's like, it's actually ironic because that what that really is actually whitewashing how Asian people think about this. Right? But that's, you know, hypocrisy is not, it's pretty common. History of Trunks was an incredible side movie. History of Trunks is really good, dude. Where Gohan had the lost arm. Oh, that shit was cool. Yeah, that shit's cool. Kimba the White Line was the first anime I ever saw. And then Little Ninja. Oh, I don't know that I've seen that one. You know what was a really cool anime that was like pretty old school was the Magi. I think it was called Magi. I literally think it was called Magi. It could have been called something else. But that had like the little genie Magi character. Did y'all ever watch that? That shit was fun. Had some One Piece vibes going on. Yeah, something like that. That one was really cool. It's Magi? Yeah, that one was cool. 80s Voltron. Yeah, 80s Voltron is cool. I like a lot of the Gundam, too. I've watched a lot of Gundam. A lot of the Gundam's really cool. I like the lore. I like how they kind of like keep like reframing it. Yeah, that shit's fun. Yeah, anime is crazy. I mean, you know, just like comics, right? Like there's just this huge history now, like probably getting close to 100 years of artists and storytellers using that medium and telling some really great stories, doing some really great work. And it's kind of crazy that like anime has gotten to the place in the zeitgeist where it is at now, because there are a lot of stories that I think people will discover now because of that. Similar to Marvel, like, you know, Marvel and DC in general, there's been great stories in comics. And for a time, there was like people thought they were lesser than, right? They'd look at those stories and be like, yeah, but it's a comic or whatever, right? And actually, due to some very specific creators taking things in a sort of different direction, like your Frank Millers, yeah, you get a lot of cool stuff going on. So there's great manga stories. You know, I think like Berserk is like an incredible manga. It's very dark, it's very edgelord, but it's beautiful. Yeah. Rossi says, what would you recommend to somebody trying to get into anime? I've had a lot of people tell me Ninja Scroll is a great place to start. Well, I would say the first thing I would ask you is, what are your tastes? Like, what kind of stuff do you like? Because if you're like, because you like Star Wars, it kind of seems like shonen might be a good pick for you, and you might just like a basic shonen. If you like cerebral stuff or thrillers, there's a lot of great stuff. Maybe that's the Death Note. Yeah, there's crazy, weird, esoteric anime. Anime is not a genre. I know it seems like it's a genre. It's a medium. In Japan, it's actually like really common to read a bunch of different manga and to watch a ton of different anime. And they will watch like a slice of life thing. They'll watch some action stuff. They'll watch some comedy. And it's just like we will flip through Netflix or Amazon Prime and, you know, watch whatever. That's pretty common over there. So there's a lot of... it's like up to your taste, man. It's up to your taste. Depends on what you like. Did bro just say 100 years? I don't remember, but probably, yeah. Why is Alex Ross posting hella artwork? Oh, okay. So the thing about that, so Alex Ross is actually an artist. And he's really famous. And so he posts art to like continue to have a presence on social media, I would assume, so that he can continue to like sell his art. So that's probably why. Anime is vast. Just dive in. Dive on in, baby. Dive on in. Yeah. Okay, should we get into some shit, man? Should we get into some shit? Oh, actually, let me double check a thing. Hang on, everybody. By the way, anybody got any dope ass plans for the weekend? What are you guys doing this weekend? Anything super cool? Watch F1. It's a good movie, dude. You'll enjoy it. Watching Howl's Moving Castle Sunday, I think. That's a great movie. Puck News just reported that Netflix is eyeing the bid with Paramount for Warner Brothers. Yep. I think he reported that yesterday, technically, but yeah. Or maybe earlier this morning. But yes, that is real. Doesn't mean they'll accept the bid. But yeah, Netflix is going to make an offer on Warner Brothers. Yep. We already talked about this. That was already being speculated in the Wall Street Journal. There were some people reporting that Zaslav wanted a bidding war. Technically, it's good for him if more people come in and bid, which I saw something in the reporting which I thought was like, man, this is so fucked up, but whatever. It is what it is. It's just business. Apparently, Zaslav has a bunch of options, stock options, in his package, like in his compensation package. And so if he gets that stock price, if he gets the deal to a certain point, he could make a shit ton of money. Like, I think he has strike point options at like $22 a share and then maybe close to $30 a share. I don't remember the exact numbers, but like, that's so fucked up, man. I mean, it's probably technically legal, but that means that he is literally there to do a basic smoke and mirrors show and try to get that stock price up on that bid as much as humanly possible, because if it hits those certain numbers, he's gonna make fucking bank. So I don't know. I mean, I guess on the one hand, it's like, sure, yeah, obviously we want the stock price up, so we incentivize the president of the company to do that. Totally. And he did lose a lot of front end money, right? If you recall, they took a lot of his salary away. I think he went from like 45 million to 20 million or something like that. So, you know, all is fair in business, I suppose. But yeah, I was like watching some of that reporting. I was like, damn, this is a wild. I mean, he's a fucking cowboy. You know what I mean? He's a cowboy. He's trying to fucking wrangle this thing. It's, yeah. Sasha Trey says, did you check out Batman v Deadpool comic? I did not. Did anybody here check it out? Is it real cool? Is it real dope? I haven't seen it. I haven't heard anything about it. I did hear, however, that Batman comic, the new one with Matt Fraction, went over 500,000 copies. 500,000 copies? That's fucking huge, dude. Holy shit. And then it got reported in the Hollywood trades. I think that's also awesome. So, good for DC, good for Batman. It also kind of shows you, like, fuck, man, like, James Gunn is probably real pissed about this whole Batman situation because holy shit, Batman is very popular. But still good for DC ultimately. So I think that's cool. Golden Hercules says, my girlfriend got me to watch Apothecary Diaries, and oh my gosh, it was actually amazing. I can't believe it's only been 49 months. Here's to many more. Yeah, only 49 months. Get your numbers up. No, I'm just kidding. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Much love. That's ordered, Joa? What the hell are you talking about? Oh, retail sales? Ordered, not sales? Yeah, but are we really going to fucking... You're going to do that? You're going to be that guy? Of course you are, Trev. But the reality is most of the industry is not going to do that. It's a secondary market for a reason. Those books are sold. Can they be returned? Can they be returned? I mean, maybe they can. Sometimes you can return them. Sometimes you can return them. If I have over 10 million, I don't think I'd care how much I get paid anymore. Yeah, true. What up, my guy? Always look forward to the stream. Nerd Venge for life. Hey, appreciate it, man. Thank you. So pro Mary? What are you saying? Josh, I made you a Tobey Maguire movie replica Spider-Man mask. Where do I ship it? I have a P.O. box. Somebody in the chat will get you the address. I don't know what it is. Yo. Primary. Trev, just get your typing done. Right, man. Get your fucking typing handled, okay? I can't be doing this Mad Lib fucking connect the dots crossword puzzle bullshit with you. Not today. Not on a Friday, bud. All right, let's get into this shit. I got shit to say. I got shit to say! All right, first of all, where we go. It's a great way to start. What the fuck happened yesterday with the trailer? With the Mando and Grogu trailer? Did you guys see this? So I believe it was, I know it was Daniel RPK. I think it was also the Beyond Reporter. We're talking yesterday about the Mandalorian trailer coming. And honestly, I was like, dude, if this trailer drops, I'll break it down and I'll go live. I wasn't planning on going live. Okay, I wasn't planning on going live. But then was, seeing the buzz about the trailer and I was like, okay. And the thing that's weird about that is like Daniel's actually usually pretty good on those trailers. So it does feel like maybe something happened. Some people were saying maybe it's the Jimmy Kimmel thing and they pulled it off for that or whatever. Maybe that's the case. Now, one thing they did do, however, was give us a bunch of new looks at the Ryan Gosling Star Wars movie, the Sean Levy Starfighter, the Starfighter movie. And I have noticed, and I did not notice this immediately, but I did eventually notice it, that there's some buzz out there about the possibility of this character being Cade Skywalker. That's right. We're going to take it right there to the most crazy fucking insane possible thing. Ryan Gosling could be playing Cade Skywalker, okay? And I want to go over why I think this, because I think there is actually some evidence to support this. I want to talk about if we think this is a good idea or not. And then actually want to watch a video that Eckhart's Ladder did. He made like an 8-minute video, which did kind of pop up for him about this. And trust me, it's hard to get a Star Wars video to pop off just in general. So I think it's interesting that he got that video to pop, and I want to watch his take on it. From what I've seen, he is not thinking it's good. He does not think it's a good idea. And you know what? Ultimately, it comes down to, do you think they should keep doing Skywalkers or not? Right? I think that's kind of the conversation. Should they continue to do Skywalkers or should they just let the Skywalker thing go? That's the question. Okay, so let's talk about this. Why do people think it's Cade Skywalker? Well, number one, I think it's mostly just that this motherfucker looks like Cade. Okay, I think that is legitimately where a lot of this is coming from. Let me see if I can pull up the photos. Ryan Gosling's character in the Starfighter, they recently showed set photos with him and the kid. Oh man, let me see if I can find it here. And he kind of looks like Cade Skywalker. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what else to tell you. Oh, this is actually from Sean Levy too, which is kind of cool. Here, let's pull this up. Let's take a peek at it. Show you exactly what I mean here. So this is the guy. And, you don't got much going on here. And when this photo initially dropped, I was like, I don't give a shit. What are they, deep sea fishing? Why? But yeah, it does appear that they're like deep sea fishing. They're clearly in their Star Wars costumes. This is kind of the young, male protagonist character. Ryan Gosling is said to be something of like a guardian of this kid, stopping him from being bad things happening to him. But there was this whole thing where people were like, oh my God, he looks like Cade Skywalker. I'll be completely real with you. I'm not super familiar with Cade. Not something that like jumped into my mind immediately. But let me see if I can find an image of Cade for you here to show you the similarities. Here you go. There's an image of him right there. And I mean, I can see why people, dude, I can see why people are jumping to this conclusion. Okay, I can see why people are jumping to this conclusions. Okay, now couple of different things here. So could this be real? Who is Cade Skywalker? Who the fuck is Cade Skywalker? Cade Skywalker is a descendant of Luke Skywalker. He exists, I think, at least 100 years after Luke, when Luke was actually around. So like, Luke and the Solo twins and Ben Skywalker and, Jason Solo, all that sort of stuff happens. And then it's like, I think it's like 100 years into the future is when we get into Cade. I could be wrong. It could be more. It could be a little less. But Cade is a descendant of Luke Skywalker, and he's known as being somewhat of like a Dash Rendar ripoff. That is to say that he's very similar to Kanan, especially when you first meet Kanan. When you first meet Kanan in Rebels and in the that novel before him, he's a Force-sensitive ex-Jedi that's a scoundrel and a smuggler. Okay? And that is the vibe of Cade. Like, Cade is that guy. He's a Dash Rendar, Han Solo. Like, they always want to do this thing where it's basically like, what if Han Solo was a Jedi? You know, that's what Kanan is. That's what Dash was, basically, though Dash doesn't really have Force sensitivity. And that's what Cade is, right? So, interesting. Here's something that makes it even more interesting. We have been hearing a lot about Mara Jade. And I know this sounds crazy. Whenever I bring this up, I get a lot of pushback. And I get pushback from people that are very reliable and that are like, they're not going to do Mara Jade. And I'm not saying that they are going to do Mara Jade, but what I am saying to you is I have heard Mara Jade. Like, people that I talk to that are in the know have been suggesting that Mara Jade will be brought into Star Wars. And actually, the thing that's really interesting is they suggest that she will be brought into Dave Filoni's movie. Okay? So walk with me on this. Walk with me on this. It obviously isn't going to be the same as what they did in the original canon. However, if they do put Mara Jade in and she has some kind of a relationship with Luke Skywalker around the time of The Mandalorian, which is what, 37 years before the era of the sequel trilogy about? Something like that? Maybe 30 years? Well, look at this guy. I mean, he technically is around the right age that if they were going to do a secret Skywalker child and they do Mara Jade, there is a possibility that this guy ends up being that. Now, that would mean he's like the direct descendant of Skywalker. He's a secret Skywalker child, like the actual child of Luke. Maybe they do it by 2 generations, depending on the time. I don't actually 100% know what the timing is, but maybe he's the grandchild of Luke. You know what I mean? And maybe the kid is the great-grandchild of Luke. Something like that, okay? Again, we're speculating, guys. You know, we're just trying to have fun, but I did hear Mara Jade. Like, that is a real-ass thing that I heard. Now, again, what does this come down to? It comes down to, do you want Skywalkers in Star Wars? And the thing that's kind of wild about Cade is if you actually look at what they were doing in the EU, Cade Skywalker literally is them saying, yes, I always want Skywalkers. Like, I want you to think about this. Cade is literally created, and he literally has interactions with Force Ghost Luke. Like, Force Ghost Luke actually prevents him from killing himself at this, like, one moment in the canon. But, like, what Cade literally is the writers and the creators and the people being like, you know what? I want a Skywalker way down the line, and I want him to be different, but he'll have something with Luke, because back then it was so obviously the case that it was the Skywalkers. I mean, you look at the Legacy of the Force, you look at the Zahn books, everybody knew the natural way you evolve this story is family, a Skywalker family, the extension of the line, because it's fantasy and it's all about kings and, succession and all this sort of stuff, right? So to me, fuck yeah, I want Secret Skywalkers. I've actually been saying for years that I want Secret Skywalker children. Now, do we think Disney wants Skywalker children? Does Disney want new Skywalkers? And, like, honestly, a big part of me thinks no, because there's been some, like, it just kind of feels like maybe they don't, right? I mean, they made Rey a Skywalker. They killed off literally all this. They killed off all the actual Skywalkers. Do you understand this? Ben, gone. Luke, gone. Leia, gone. Han, gone, even though he's not an actual Skywalker, right? So they fucking killed them all. Okay, right? It's hard to imagine that they killed them all And then they're like, you know what? But we want more Skywalkers. But you know what's not hard to imagine? It's not hard to imagine that an old school Star Wars fan, a actual fan, like, you know, look, all due respect to Kathleen Kennedy, but she's clearly not a Star Wars fan. She doesn't fucking understand it, and she's got her foot in her mouth many times when speaking about it. It's different. When you hear Kevin Feige talk about Marvel, he understands it. When you hear Kathleen Kennedy talk about Star Wars, you're like, what the fuck do you mean you don't have any source material? Anyway, point is this. It's not hard to imagine that a guy like Sean Levy and a guy like Dave Filoni and a guy like Jon Favreau, it's not hard to imagine that they respect the EU, that they understand the EU, that they know it shouldn't be about the Skywalker children and the Skywalker line. And it's not hard to imagine that they wouldn't conceive of a way to bring that back into it. The question becomes, is Kathy okay with this? Like, you have to go through the scenario. If this is what it is, you have to go through this scenario where Sean Levy, which again, isn't it kind of interesting that Levy, with every door in the world open to him after making Deadpool and Wolverine and grossing $1.3 or $1.4 billion when Hollywood really fucking needed that, when Disney really fucking needed that, Sean Levy had every door in the world open to him, and he selected Star Wars. He had a vision and a pitch. With his co-writer, he had a script. He wanted to make this movie, and I've always been fascinated with that. Why did he want to make this movie, right? Well, you'd have to imagine a scenario where he literally sits in a room with Kathleen Kennedy and says, I want to do a movie, and I want to do Cade Skywalker. And I think we should do a thing where Luke had a secret child. And then you'd have to conceive of Kathleen Kennedy and other people in the room, right? Because it's not just her, saying yes or no. And like, maybe it's a thing where it's Dave and Kathy and maybe like Doug Chang or some other people. I don't know who it would be exactly, but it's like these executive people at Lucasfilm, maybe Carrie Beck, right? And they hear this thing, and then they literally have to be like it's basically the reality of this happening is dependent upon what the people in that room said if Sean actually pitched this. I think Dave would be down. I think Dave gets it. I think Dave would absolutely be down. I don't know that Kathy would. I don't know who else would even be in the room, but I think Dave would be down, and I'm not sure about Kathy. So that kind of takes us to a place of, I don't know. You know what I mean? But I say fucking do it, man. I say with where Star Wars is at, is this maybe a RDJ Doctor Doom level of a thing where they're like, dude, we need to just inject some fucking hype in this. We need to do something crazy to get people interested and excited again. Maybe. Again, I still think it's a good idea. And here's a video from Eckhart's Ladder, who was actually the first person I saw on Twitter discussing this. This is what he has to say about it. So let's watch X take here. It's only like an 8-minute video. And then let's see what you guys have to say.
Starfighter. We'll break it down, including, I don't know, a pretty crazy thing I noticed on today's video.
No one's ever really gone.
Ooh, no one's ever really gone. Oh no, Palpatine, no!
Hey guys, this is Justin. Hello, and welcome to another Star Wars video. Just a reminder, YouTube has been tough for me. It's been tough for all creators, especially Star Wars ones. Look at your favorite YouTubers and their views. If you want to help the channel survive...
Don't do that. You'll get sad and depressed. YouTube's tough. Content's tough. Star Wars is fucked. We're gonna make it. We're gonna be okay.
Honestly, consider pledging your support on Patreon. For the lowest tier, I think it's $2. You can join the book club, get updates, see
cool.
videos
Cool.
early. It's great. I also need to do a watch through of The Matrix Reloaded for a video I'm working on, so I'll probably post a reaction there. But I also recognize times are tough, so no worries either way. All right, so I'll put on screen the first image of Star Wars Starfighter, and I'm going to briefly as well give some context and recap everything we know about the film so far. Star Wars Starfighter will be set 5 years after the rise of Skywalker, making it the furthest story we have in the Star Wars canon timeline. Now, of course, in the Star Wars Legends expanded universe, this would have taken place in what's usually called the post-NJO or the Legacy era, but that's not really relevant except in a strange way I'll talk about in just a moment. Starfighter has a fairly packed cast, including, of course, Ryan Gosling playing the main character, Matt Smith, Mia Goth, Amy Adams, and others. I've broken that down in a past.
Oh shit, I forgot Amy Adams. But she wouldn't be Mara. Because she's playing the, like, what's his face? Is Ryan Gosling's wife, right? Or am I wrong?
Video, so no need to examine it too much here, but no surprise, we just got casting and this is the first image we've got. The film is still a while away. It's set for a May 28th, 2027 release date, but don't schedule your time off work yet with how Disney is juggling the Avengers and Star Wars.
Yeah,
who knows
true.
what will happen? It was originally set to release December, which honestly I would have preferred. I loved having.
I loved the December experience with Star Wars too. You come into town, fair Christmas, seeing the family. Let's all go see Star Wars. I loved that shit.
And Christmas be Star Wars time, and I was looking forward to that with my kids. Plot-wise, we don't know a whole lot besides for the time period it's set in, but apparently these are mostly rumors as far as I'm aware. Ryan Gosling will be protecting the child we see here, played by Flynn Gray, from someone, the
Two
Empire,
Imperials.
the
Yeah,
First
yeah.
Order, smugglers, who knows? That being said, given that this movie is the first to tackle the post-sequels era, it's going to have to do some world building, and
Yeah,
I
true.
honestly wouldn't be surprised to see this tie in to whatever they're planning to do with Rey and the official episodes 10 through 12 and whatever else.
Yeah, I think most people are conceiving that, right, guys? Like, whatever they're doing with this film seems like an onboarding ramp into this era where maybe they want to do the Kinberg trilogy. Maybe this kid is the center of the Kinberg trilogy. Maybe not. Maybe Goss's character is a part of it. Or maybe there's an element here that becomes a catalyst for the big conflict. And like Ek is saying, like, it's probably going to be the case that they'll world build a bit and be like, it's been 7 years since Rey said she was a Skywalker and the whole galaxy turned on her because they were like, that is bullshit. Even that one old lady she met came back and burned her fucking house down and shit. Like, I don't know. We'll see. Like, it's been 7 years since Rey. Everybody's fucking over it. They figured out she's a Mary Sue. I don't know. But we'll get a status quo.
I feel like I'm back on the supershadow.com website. That being said, well, the Force or the Jedi Order or sort of the greater themes of the saga may play into the film. We gotta remember the name, Star Wars Starfighter. It's going to be about starfighters, and probably Ryan Gosling's character will not be Force sensitive or a Jedi unless... About 4 hours ago,
I think he is, actually. And also, I would tell you the thing that's interesting about the Starfighter element is, remember, they got the guy that did Top Gun Maverick and F1. The, what is the cinematographer, I believe? Yeah, cinematographer, or maybe the director of photography. But either way, they're assembling talent for the action sequences of this movie.
when I first saw this image, I tweeted out, oh no, why is that? Well, Ryan Gosling looks pretty much exactly like a character from Star Wars Legends. I told you my little spiel earlier would be important. Cade Skywalker. I'll explain who Cade is in just a minute, but the similarities. First of all, the hair. Obviously, Cade has wavy blonde hair. Honestly, he's usually pretty greasy as well. We've been reading the Legacy of the Force comics from which he appears on my podcast, Tapcaf Transmissions. In the entire time I'm reading it, I just keep saying, man, this guy looks like he must stink. He's definitely a little grungier than Ryan Gosling, but the age seems close enough. He's got the gloves, which is funny. He's got the same sort of scoundrel outfit. Even those leather pants, they are very, very Cade Skywalker. Ryan Gosling, of course, also plays a great brooding loner, which Cade is through much of Legacy of the Force. Even the facial hair. Also, I saw this weird bit of art for Cade. I had to see it. You should have to as well. Here it is. But could Ryan Gosling actually be playing Cade Skywalker? Who is Cade Skywalker?
Yeah,
Why haven't many of you heard of him?
Yeah.
Well, probably not. It's very possible that someone was inspired by Cade's design when envisioning the main character of the film, but I don't know. Cade and really all of Star Wars Legacy exists very much within the mid to late 2010s, certainly aesthetically. So the story is this. As the Star Wars Expanded Universe was continuing the story of the Skywalker saga heroes, plus their children, Dark Horse decided that they wanted to move in a completely different direction, jumping over 100 years in the future with the Star Wars Legacy comics. Now, Legacy actually tied into the novels releasing at that time. We have references to the One Sith and Darth Krayt in Legacy of the Force and Fate of the Jedi, for example. But the galaxy is
I think Star Wars needs to embrace this era, man. I think we need to get into the era of Star Wars that's like aura farming, fucking dope ass armor, some of the more cool symbolism and iconography. I think Star Wars needs to embrace this.
a very different place. I've covered the setting pretty in depth before. You can check out my video on every conflict after the Battle of Endor if you'd like, but in short, the Galactic Alliance, basically the successor state to the New Republic, fights a war against the Empire. Shocker, the Sith Order, now reorganized under the One Sith, come out of hiding and join the Galactic Empire, who defeats the GA, and we get another Jedi Purge. The comics mostly follow Cade Skywalker, the person I've been referring to as the Ryan Gosling lookalike, though much grungier. We don't know exactly where he sits in the Skywalker family tree. Ben Skywalker, son of Luke, is born 26 years after the Battle of Yavin. Cade, probably 110 or so. So you most likely have 2 or 3 generations separating them. Either way, he's the Skywalker descendant and one of the last remaining Jedi after, shocker, yet again another purge. Cade loses his faith in the Order and the Force. He struggles with drug addiction.
So he feels like a real model for Kanan, doesn't he? Because like if you think about it, the Dark Horse stuff happens in the early 20s, 2010s, and then there's another Jedi Purge. And then this guy is a survivor, loner. That's Kanan, right? So Kanan, although he does find his love in that novel with Hera, but it's after the actual Purge of the Jedi in Order 66. There's a lot of similarities to the Kanan character.
Unique healing powers, but he has to use the dark side of the Force to generate them. And just generally, he's a very...
Yeah, he's able to bring people back to life, which I wonder if X going to get into in a second here. But this is something we talked about last night, or maybe the night before, when we were doing a Nerd Avenger stream about this. He literally brings people back to life. So he's able to do the thing that Anakin never could, which is a whole nother really interesting thing. I don't know if they would do that in this movie or not, but pretty wild.
Edgy Jedi you'd expect from this type of comic in the mid to late 2010s. Now,
that's what I'm saying. I love this shit. I love this energy. I love the fucking testosterone. Let's fucking go.
Ryan Gosling be Cade himself. I mean, no. Unless he was trapped in some like reverse time dilation bubble. You can't fit that many generations into, 5 years since the rise of Skywalker. Realistically, he's probably not going to be a descendant of Luke or really connected to anyone we know from the series so far.
And as I said, that's totally fair, but I would say they could change it. They obviously changed a lot of the stuff when they adapt it. A lot of the EU stuff, when it's adapted, is changed, and it has to fit better into what they're actually doing, right? That includes Thrawn. Thrawn from the old days is different, and the new version of him in canon is slightly different and changed. So if it is Cade, then it's just his either secret son or maybe a secret second generation, like maybe the secret grandson of Luke. And I think that's totally fine. That would totally play. That's fine.
Although it is a fun thing to imagine. But listen, it's also not impossible that Luke had a kid along the way. Is it likely? No. Will they be introducing it in Star Wars Starfighter? Probably not, but through this image, I've Trojan horsed in a discussion of the Star Wars Legacy comics and also reminded you to check out my podcast, Hapcaf Transmissions. It's been a fun sort of excuse to think about that part of the end, really, near the end of the Star Wars Expanded Universe. I won't pretend that I'm a fan of the Star Wars Legacy comics. In fact, I really, really dislike them. And I dislike the character of Cade Skywalker as well. I think, and I'm guessing, had the novels continued, they would have eventually kind of just ignored Legacy, which is fine. It's far off in the future anyway. But it has been nice to see so many people reacting to my tweet and also giving their thoughts on an era long gone.
It's totally fair. And I think what X kind of saying is like, this is the first time in a while that there's been some kind of interest in something they're doing. And, that tweet did pop off for him. And there were a lot of fans that like, maybe they didn't even know fully who Cade was, but they were at least interested enough to be like, oh shit, like here's where he comes from, this, that, second, and the third. That is a little bit of that Marvel energy. Now, obviously Marvel has its issues, and you know, you could argue that even that doesn't exist as much over there. But a lot of the joy in Marvel would be like, oh, dude, I remember this character from comics. I wonder how the MCU version of that will happen. Or, oh, we're hearing that this character is going to be a thing. Or we know who Sadie Sink's going to play, and it's this. And then you think of that comic that this thing happened in, and you're like, oh, that's awesome. That's actually a part of fandom. That's a part of what makes it really fun. And it's unfortunately something that I think Star Wars kind of destroyed within its own fandom because of Last Jedi. Like Rian Johnson, he's like that kind of pedantic nerd that wanted to take everybody's fun away. And so he fucked it all up, you know, by destroying all those fan theories, I think on purpose. And, you know, the attitude from Lucasfilms, like your Snoke theory sucks, all that shit. Terrible, terrible, terrible for the fandom. You need shit like this. And as corny as it seems, and it's like a juvenile and some Hollywood people might not get it, that's why you paid $4 billion for the fucking asset, because motherfuckers were engaged in it. And this is why. Shit like this got them engaged. So, to me, I say go for it, man. I say go for it. Now, a couple other things just to add in here before we get out of here. It's been a long segment. Two things. Number one, as Rossi brings up, Darth Talon in the Maul show. Talon connected to this character. You know, Cade Skywalker and Talon have a lot in common. Talon is an interesting addition into the Maul show. Talon was in George's original version of his sequel trilogies. Darth Talon was going to be involved. So the Maul connection into Talon, the Luke connection into Cade, maybe they're cooking something. Maybe this is legacy, maybe not. Another really interesting thing that Adam found in the community was there's a Reddit post, and who knows what this means, but there was a Reddit post about Ryan Gosling's character being Cade Skywalker in a leaking forum that has been completely deleted from the internet. It's gone. The mods are gone. Like it's a really weird. You never know what that means. You never know. It doesn't necessarily mean anything. It's not a smoking gun. But it is interesting that there was a Reddit thread where an anonymous source claimed to report that Ryan Gosling was Cade Skywalker, and then that you cannot find that post anymore. It has been deleted. The person that tweeted it has been deleted. Like it's put it on Reddit. It's been deleted. It's really weird, right? It's really weird. So. Who knows, guys? Who knows? Speculation, of course, but I would be into it, and I think like Star Wars needs something like this. I think it needs something.